Greetings, this is Paul the Poke from paulthepoke.com. Today's topic, Antichrist, 666, the mark of the beast. And the scripture reference is Revelation 13:16 through 18. And he causes all, the small and the great, and the rich and the poor, and the free men and the slaves, to be given a mark on their right hand or on their forehead, and he provides that no one will be able to buy or to sell except the one who has the mark, either the name of the beast or the number of his name. Here is wisdom. Let him who has understanding calculate the number of the beast, for the number is that of a man, and his number is 666. Now, good Lord, volumes of books and articles and internet posts and you name it has been written about these three verses. So I'll make a full disclosure up front. If you're expecting some wild conspiracy theory, sorry, it's not going to happen. We're going to focus on what it actually says. And, disclosing June 2016, we're not in the tribulation. We're nowhere near seeing anybody make a mark of the beast. We're just not there. There is no beast. There is no Antichrist. There is no temple. There is no peace treaty. There is no 10-nation federation. It's not happening anytime soon. It's at least 3.5, 4 years out latest, if everything were to happen this fall. But the context of the mark is it's during the last 3.5 years of the 7-year tribulation. So, even when this guy comes to power, it's not going to happen immediately. It's going to be in the last half of the tribulation, at least 3.5 years in, looking at the context of this verse in Revelation 13. The mark, the word for mark in the original Greek is charagma, and per Strong's Concordance, it means a stamp or an imprinted mark. So a lot of times this is the same word that was used to mark a horse back in the day. We would see it a lot of times on cattle ranches, like making a brand or a mark on cattle. But it could be something that's carved. It could be a sculpture, a graven work of an idolatrous image. So, back to don't worship any other gods, no idols to worship, etc. Well, this guy is going to have a stamp or a mark that he's going to require people to take. And it's everybody who is alive at that time will be charged with the idea, do I take this or not? And it doesn't matter your lot in life. It's all encompassing. Small, great, rich, poor, free, slave, whoever. If you are alive, you're going to be faced with this decision. And the verses also say, no one will be able to buy or to sell except the one who has the mark. So the decision to take the mark is going to affect your ability to engage in commerce. So, if you want gas, groceries, water, clothes, and so forth, you're going to have to take the mark. And at least 3.5 years into the tribulation, resources are going to be scarce. People alive at this time are going to be tired, hungry, thirsty, and it's going to be very tempting to, I'll do anything for food, and I'll take the mark. It's, to take the mark, short-term gain, eternal loss, lake of fire. And, the idea of wisdom in the Bible, the Greek word Sophia, broad and full of intelligence, used of knowledge of very diverse matters, specifically the varied knowledge of things human and divine, acquired by acuteness and experience, summed up in maxims and proverbs. It's the science of learning and so forth. Giving the sagest advice, the intelligence and evinced in discovering the meaning of some mysterious number of vision. Skill, management of affairs. We have all kinds of ideas that lead into, some wise old sage sitting on a stump and contemplating the planet. Well, the idea in a biblical sense, it's not just knowing information, it's using it. It's having the ability to take information and apply it skillfully. Take the facts, use them, know and do. It's not just sitting around and taking in information, it's using it. And another phrase in the verse, let him who has understanding, and these get real interesting, have hold or echo in the Greek, understanding or nous in the Greek, have the mind, comprise the faculties of perceiving and understanding, and those of feeling, judgment, determining, the intellectual faculty, understanding, reason, in a narrow sense, the capacity for spiritual truth. It's having the ability to recognize goodness and evil, considering and judging soberly, calmly, and impartially, taking your time, thinking through something and judging it. This is not some little warm fuzzy feeling or some tingle up and down your spine or a flutter. I mean, you're being called to think and to take in information and process it. Calculate the number. The phrase calculate the number in the verses. The Greek word for calculate is sphidzo, and it means to count with pebbles, to compute, calculate, reckon. Again, these are thinking types of verbs. To give one's vote by casting a pebble into the urn, decide by voting. So, when you go to take the mark, or if you are pressed with the choice to take the mark, the text is being very clear, giving you multiple ideas to open your brain and think, and you are being charged with using your intellect. This is not an emotional decision. It appeals to your intellect. Don't be driven by emotion. Think, carefully think and discern. Have sober purpose. This is a massive decision if you're ever pressed with it. It'll be the biggest vote of your life. And your eternal destination will ride on this choice. Revelation 14 verses 9 through 11, then another angel, a third one, followed them, saying with a loud voice, if anyone worships the beast and his image, and receives a mark on his forehead or on his hand, he also will drink the wine of the wrath of God, which is mixed in full strength in the cup of his anger, and he will be tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angels and in the presence of the Lamb. And the smoke of their torment goes up forever and ever. They have no rest, day and night, those who worship the beast in his image, and whoever receives the mark of his name. This is not some little, well, maybe I will, maybe I won't. It's going to again happen in the back half of the tribulation. We're not there, but lots of thinking verbs in this, and that's the deal. The guy that comes along, he's not going to force people to take the mark. He's going to be very convincing. People are going to willingly want to follow this guy and decide, you know what, he's probably the one. He's the chosen one, whoever that may be. So, if you're interested in these topics, please feel free to check out paulthepope.com. Keywords: Antichrist, 666, Mark of the Beast. Thanks for listening. Take care. Bye.